Hello, welcome back to Frank's Garage. If you're new to the channel, welcome in. And if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. So, getting back real quick on my Ford Explorer, it got repaired on the AC, so it's blowing cold air just like a freezer. But there is an issue with it. It's having a intermittent an issue that comes and goes. Intermittent, yeah, that's the word I was trying to get. So this intermittent problem is the transmission moving around like if it goes into neutral and then it goes back into gear. I'm not exactly sure what problem it's having. It's definitely you can feel it when you're driving. Say you come to a red light or to a stop sign. It doesn't do it all the time. It just does it like maybe every 1 out of 15 stops that you make. And in the past 2 weeks, I felt it maybe 3, 4, maybe 5 times. So what it does is that you get to a stop and it feels like it goes to neutral because you let go of the brake and the vehicle rolls back. Basically it rolls back by itself, and then it gets into the gear, into drive, and you feel this jolt to the front. And yeah, that doesn't feel so great. So I'm not a transmission guy. I called a friend of mine who is a transmission guy, and he told me to just take it to him whenever I get a chance. So I actually do have a chance this coming weekend. I'm going on vacation, so I'm just gonna drop it off at his place once I'm going to the vacation. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Now on this video, I'm also gonna show I'm gonna show myself putting a new remote to work on this Explorer, because the one that came with it when I purchased the vehicle, first of all, it was broken, and second of all, even if I replace the battery, nothing works. So I got 2 new remotes. I want to at least program one of them so I can just have that one working with the key that I already got. So yeah, that's for now. I also ordered brakes, but the brakes are not arriving till Thursday, but I'm leaving for vacation on Friday, so it's like I wanted to get the brakes done before I left. No, I'm not taking this vehicle on my vacay. I'm renting the vehicle. Whenever I go on vacay, I don't use my vehicles. I'd rather spend the money and invest in renting the vehicle rather than taking my own for a drive. If I were going to like camping, going off-road, yeah, I would probably most likely take mine. But that's not the case. I'm just gonna go out of state and to a place where I don't need a camp or go off-road. So anyways, going back to the Camry real quick. The Camry, I got it to the point where it was running. I tested it on the roads. But here's the thing, when I was testing the car, it first gave me a feeling like it was vibrating really bad on the front wheels. Don't know what that was. That's something I'm still iffy about. And the second thing that it did, after I had arrived to a Home Depot, it felt like I lost brakes. But okay, first thing, when you get to that situation where you feel like you lost your brakes, but your car still stops. What it was doing is that the brake pedal would just go to the floor, but actually braked hard to the point like it was braking so hard you would probably eat the steering wheel by the time it hit the floor on the brake pedal. So I'm thinking, okay, I know the brakes are working. The reservoir, it's filled to the top, even though it's not new fluid, it's the old fluid. You can see it right there. So I'm thinking, okay, sorry, I dropped the glove. Okay, so I'm thinking this could be a brake booster issue. There's nothing leaking around. No leaks. It's dry under the car at this moment right now also. It was dry back at Home Depot at the parking lot. So the brake booster is right there. And that's the hose. Let me just zoom in on the hose. That's the hose that comes out of the booster. It runs this way. And it runs right back there. Okay. And it keeps going, and right there. That's where it ends. Well, it doesn't actually end there. I took the hose that was coming from here to here. I took it off because it was a little bit torn. I didn't notice before. I test drove the vehicle. Here is the hose, and here's the crack. So I'm guessing my diagnosis on that is that the air was escaping out of here and not giving me the vacuum pressure that it needs on the booster to yeah, it was not giving me the amount of air needed in the booster for it to actually feel like it's braking. The car was braking, I'll be honest, the car was actually stopping, coming to a dead stop. But the pedal had to be all the way down to the floor. And then I moved the car from Home Depot, I went to another shop. I was looking for other tools. When I got to the shop, it was still doing the same thing. It was going all the way to the floor. But when I started the car back up again to go home, the brake pedal was working fine. It was going just like a little bit, and the car would stop. It was not going to the floor again. So I'm like, okay, what the hell? So in my head, I'm thinking like, what the heck is going on? First, the car would brake. Then it wouldn't brake. I mean, it would brake, but it would go to the floor. And then now it's working normal again. So I was thinking definitely has to be something with the booster because there's no leaks. No leaks. Then I saw that hose and I got a replacement. It's not exactly the same one because obviously for the same one I will have to go to Toyota, and you know how dealerships charge so much for something. Anyways, I know this replacement hose is universal and it's definitely much longer, but it goes in. Voila. And I tested on this end because this end right here is thicker than the one over there. So if it goes into this one, it goes into the other one. And simply just put two clamps, tighten them down, and you're good to go. Obviously I gotta cut this to length. This is too long. I asked the guy at AutoZone to give me about the same length but a little longer, so that way I can just cut it down to the right size. Now the other thing I noticed, sometimes you gotta do like a triple check of everything once when you do a service like this, especially if it's your own car. You gotta show love to your own car. So this is a lesson that I always relearn when I'm working on cars. Triple check everything. I know you double check everything, but sometimes you gotta do a triple check. I didn't notice that one of the spark plug wires had a tear right here, right there. That's the spark plug wire for this one. Look at it again. Now I'm gonna pull it out of here. Hold on. That's not good, guys. I didn't replace it before because they looked fine. But I'm guessing that probably me moving around, it probably got caught up on something, then I pulled it back in place and it tore. But no biggie. I got a replacement spark plug wires right here. The NGKs, the ones that I really like. Not because of the color, yeah, they look nice, but NGK makes some really good spark plug wires, coils, and spark plugs. Okay, if you're looking for really good spark plugs, wires, coils, and whatnot, anything that has to do with ignition, go with NGK. They don't fail. Okay, they never fail. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Now, I'm going to show you something I'm going to do, but I'm not going to do on camera. Because honestly, there's just no space for what I'm going to do. Okay? And it has to do, obviously, with this engine. It has to do with the EGR. Let me see if I get this right. It's the exhaust gas recirculatory, I think that's the word, or recirculation, something like that. Exhaust gas recirculation system. Every engine has this crap. Now, why I say crap? Because EGR craps out your engine. Okay? What do I mean by that? Well, okay, exhaust gas recirculation is just that. It recirculates exhaust gases back into your intake so that way your engine could burn those gases a second time. It's stupid. It's very stupid. Your engine needs clean air to burn fuel, and then those burned gases or that burned air just needs to go out the exhaust. There's no need for that crap to go back into your engine. That's actually one of the Achilles heels of the Ford F-250s with the 6.7 Power Stroke. Okay, I deleted my EGR. I took the EGR off of my truck. I'm like, no, I'm not dealing with that crap. On the 6.7, on the Ford 6.7, replacing the EGR is a nightmare and very costly. So if you have a Ford 6.7 and you haven't deleted EGR, the moment it starts giving you issues, take it off. Don't bother replacing it. Just take it off. Buy a delete kit for the EGR. There's a lot, okay? A lot of different companies out there selling an EGR delete kit, including on eBay for that engine. And I got mine from eBay and it works just fine. I don't get check engine lights. Just do it. Do it. Get rid of that crap. Anyways, I'm doing the same thing on this one because I got a check engine light coming out of the EGR sensor. So I'm thinking, crap, something on the EGR went bad. Well, this engine has multiple parts to the system. There's a modulator, a EGR valve, and the sensor. And I believe there's an additional sensor on that side of the engine, but that's a sensor I don't need to replace, okay, or to take away, or take out, however you want to call it. Anyways, I already removed those parts that I just mentioned. There's the EGR valve. Now, that goes into the intake manifold. That right there. Would you want your engine to breathe this? I wouldn't. Look at that. Almost like that's about half or maybe less than half the size of the actual hole where the EGR valve breathes. That's just nasty. Here's the modulator that I mentioned. Here is the pipe that comes out of the exhaust to the EGR valve and then into the intake. So, oh yeah, and this is the sensor. That's the sensor that's giving me an issue. Now, I'll tell you, Toyota, they make really good engines, but sometimes they just, I mean, like, give me a break. Why would you put the sensor in the most difficult area to work on this engine? That sensor, that freaking sensor, should have been mounted up here with the EGR valve, the modulator. No, they decided, you know what, we're gonna send this guy to the darkest area of the engine bay. So it's gonna, the EGR sensor is mounted, or goes mounted, underneath this intake manifold. Okay, so you see how it is. This intake manifold goes all the way down there. I should get a light, because if I can't see, you guys can't see. Give me a second. Give me 1 second. Let me get that light. Where did I put my flashlight? I remember I put the flashlight underneath the car, so yeah, I forgot to take it out. It is off. It's just I forgot to take it off. Okay, so I got this Milwaukee flashlight. Anyways, so this right here is the intake manifold, and it goes all the way down there. So under all of that is the sensor. It's the location to mount the sensor. So let me come in this way. So this sensor goes mounted behind the power steering pump, which is right there in the center of the screen, and beside the engine mount at the back, all the way back there, with a 12mm bolt. So I'm like, what in the heck is Toyota thinking when they designed this? And they made this engine for a lot of years. Anyhow, I would say that was the most uncomfortable sensor to remove that I've ever had to deal with. That's the most uncomfortable one. And I've heard of uncomfortable sensors to remove, and I'm talking about those people who have the Ford's 5.4 VA with a 2-valve, 3-valve, and the 4-valve. There's a sensor behind the intake manifold for those engines that, my God, you gotta remove the whole intake manifold to get to it. That's one pain in the butt. Anyhow, so I'm not going to put the sensor up there anymore. What I'm going to do is find a way to reroute the sensor wire, which is right there, that blue one right there. I gotta find a way to reroute that, because I'm gonna mount the sensor to that hole right there. Okay, I just gotta find a screw that will go into that and just mount it right there. I'm not even gonna mount it anywhere else. I'm definitely not gonna go back down there and mount it. Now the reason I say mount it back, because even though I'm deleting the modulator and deleting the valve, I cannot delete the sensor. That's for sure. I cannot delete the sensor. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put that sensor back to that new... Excuse me, I had to burp a little. Anyways, I'm going to mount it back to that same spot that I just mentioned. And I'm going to plug it in, but these two holes, I mean not holes, they're like vacuum entrances. These two, I'm gonna plug them up. I got some little tiny caps that you can just buy at a hardware store. I'm gonna put two of those. I'm gonna plug it in. I'm done. Now I'm gonna erase obviously the check engine code, and I gotta test drive it again to see if it comes back on. If it does come back on, that means this sensor is bad. Why do I know the sensor will be bad if it comes back on? Because if there's no air, no vacuum going through it, then there's no need for you to for it to be actually working. There's no need, because it's a sensor. It senses air, or in this case, it senses vacuum. So if there's no vacuum, there's no need to sense anything. So if it comes back on, then obviously it means that sensor is fried. But if it doesn't come back on, that means it's still working, even though it's really bad oily conditions. If it doesn't work, I mean, if it doesn't turn back on the check engine light, that means this is working and I did everything right. So this gone. The pipe is also gone. Look at that. My goodness. This is nasty. Anyways, now I'm going to show you the modification that I did. So this is the pipe. This end right here goes way, way, way back down there. It looks difficult to get to. It has to be from the bottom of the engine. I'm not going to get back down there, but I'm going to show you. I have the car lifted about maybe 1.5 feet at the front. Maybe a foot, maybe 1.5 feet, somewhere in between. Obviously, I went back down there. I went in through between the two towers, and right over there, that's where I was putting myself and reaching up. You're gonna find this copper colored pipe. Okay, this copper colored pipe going to, let me show you, going to a nut, or a flare nut, pretty big. It's 24 millimeters. So it goes to a flare nut like this one, and it's also colored like this, silver. So if you see that, then that's the pipe that you need to get off the engine. So you take that 24 millimeter wrench and you just crack it loose, and you're gonna have to keep using it for maybe 6 or 7 turns, because it's pretty tight. Once you do 6 or 7 turns, you pretty much can turn it with your fingers, and then make sure you pull it off the entrance, because even if you loosen out the valve at the top, and you don't pull it off, it might be a little difficult. I know that by experience because when I did it the first time, gosh, I keep losing track of my things. Okay, here it is. So I had to use this long one, this long pick, and the pipe was about dead center of the screen. So I just reached in from up here after loosening out the two nuts that were holding the valve in position. I just came in like that. And just pushed like that, and the pipe came off. But if I had not done that, the pipe would not come off unless I use that tool. Okay, so anyways, I cut off this piece. This piece goes, let me show you. It used to go like that, together, with the flare nut in the middle around the pipe. Now, the reason I took that and I took a grinder, cut it off, is that I need to put that flare nut back in place. But this time, have it covered. So what I did is I looked for a bolt that would cover the entire space that the flare nut didn't had as a hole, and I took a grinder to that bolt, took the threads off of it, and basically put it there. And I called my friend, who's basically a mentor to me. He's about 25 or a little bit more, 25 years older than me. So he soldered this together. He welded this. My bad. Used the wrong word. He welded the bolt to the flare nut for me. I got the it's a really old welder. So basically my job now is to keep grinding this so it can be flat. So whenever I put it on, it can be screwed in with the 24mm wrench, and I can tighten it down. So yeah, that's what I gotta do. That's what I got left to do. I gotta use my grinder. There it is. Use my grinder to flatten the sides down. And he already checked it. It doesn't leak. What you normally do is just put water. You put water over here on the side that's open, and you hold it up like that and make sure water doesn't leak out. If it still leaks out, then that means you gotta find the spot where it's still open and keep welding on that one spot till it's shut. And he kept doing that to the point where it wouldn't leak water anymore. And that's when he said, okay, we're done. All you gotta do is just grind this down. And that's what I'm gonna do later. So once I have that flare nut to the spot, and I got the sensor over here with the two vacuum holes plugged up. Once I have that, then all I have to do then is buy the EGR valve gasket that goes to the intake manifold, and I have to not find because I got the metal right here. I just got to cut the metal to the size of the gasket or a little bit larger with two holes, so I can just pass it through the studs and tighten it down with the nuts. Once I have that, then that hole on this side, which you can't see, it's over here. So that way that hole right there is completely covered and shut. And then we're done with the EGR. But again, I'm not going to do that on camera, so that way you guys know. That's pretty much it with this engine. Other engines are different, more difficult, maybe easier, who knows. But for now, that's it. Now I'm going to show you guys quickly. I'm going to show you how I'm going to put this up, the hose, the what's this called again? Spark plug wires. The new ones, I'm going to put them on, and I'm going to show you how that is installed, and that's it for this video. Okay, so I'll be right back. Okay, so we're going to start off with the hose that goes right there. So here's the hose. The idea is to plug in to that side first, and then measure how much over here, cut the excess off, and then plug it in. Okay, that's the goal. But we need to get the clamps that we're going to use for that. So I'm thinking of using the original ones. Maybe I can use the original ones that came with it. So let me first check if, let's see, okay, it could work. Yeah, let me get the clamp, I mean not the clamp, the pliers, so I can squeeze that out. Right, so when you got these kind of clamps and they're in a very uncomfortable position, sometimes those original pliers, they don't really fit or work very well in the area. That's when you can get one of these. These are clamp pliers. I think that's the correct name for it. So basically, the one with the lip goes like that. And then this one goes in the other way. Hold on, I lost grip. Hold on. So yeah, like that. And you can see it won't come off unless you actually push this lever right here. It'll let go of it. So let's see. It goes in nice and also squeezes. So now that I got the clamp right here, I'm going to go ahead and push this in. There you go. And that's when you open that up. You see, that's not coming off. And the clamp is holding on to the hose in place. Then we're coming here to this spot. So, I mean, I could just let it be this long, but then it's just too much. What I can do is just cut it down to this much, and it's not actually gonna hurt at all. So let me get my hose cutters. I'll be right back. Alright, so I'm back. You can get these anywhere. Harbor Freight, Home Depot has these. So we're probably gonna leave it like, hold on, probably gonna leave it this long. Just cut the excess off. So maybe about right here, maybe shorter, maybe there. Yeah. So the way this works, you open them up, put it in here, and you squeeze just like if you're using a pair of scissors. And voila, clean cut. Okay. And grab the piece that came off right here, throw it away or throw it to the table if you plan to use it for something else. And then we're back with the same type of clamps. Do the same thing as you did with the other one. Put this on, through the hose, and then bring them up. And let it hold. You see it's not coming off, so we're good. And that is the end for this hose. Now let's go do let's go do the spark plug wires. And let me show you with some light. There you can see better how it goes. Alright, so let's get over. Let me go find a spot for you guys and I'll turn the camera back on. Okay, so that's the best viewing angle I can give you guys right now. But I already got the other 3 spark plug wires disconnected, but I thought maybe I should just show you how to disconnect one of them. So this is not the type of connector that you press on it or you squeeze on it and you pull off. This one's different. This one is, you should use a flat blade screwdriver, this small, it's very skinny, and there's a lip down here that you gotta raise. You see how it went up, right? Let me show you again. That lip right there, you pull up on it, you see how the entire connector tilted towards it away, and then you can basically push up with the flat blade, or you could just, let me put it back in. The other way you could just do it is just pull it. Hold on. There you go. Pull it up. And voila. Now, if this happens, you see I took the holder off, and the rest of it is staying in place. Simple. Just pull up, and it comes off. Okay. All right. So that's that. Now, I don't remember if I ever mentioned why I have this here. This usually is, or used to be, a hose, an air hose that would come out off the valve cover to the intake tube. I took it off because, well, this engine already has 2 hoses coming out of the intake, coming out of the valve cover towards the intake. And plus, the one here had already recently, before I did the valve cover job, it was spilling oil into the intake tube. And you don't want oil in your intake. You don't. So I said, I'm going to take it off and put this filter on it. If for any reason at all, if I see oil dripping out of that in the future, if I see oil coming out of that, then obviously there's a problem with the PCV. With that is the positive crankcase vent. The PCV, it's not right there, it's right here. That right there in the center of the screen, that's a PCV. So if there's any oil coming out of this little filter, then obviously that tells me there's an issue with the PCV. Okay, so that's a good thing. Let's just say that's a good thing, because that kind of alerts me when there's an issue with the engine that I haven't noticed. Okay, so we took that off. Now let's go take them off the valve cover. We'll take them off the engine. Let's see if I can just get you guys right here. Oops. Now, to take these off, it's pretty easy. So, I'm going to take off one of them right now. You'll see. That's simple. It comes off that easy. Yeah, sometimes you gotta pull on it a little hard, but it'll still come out. Okay. There you go. You got all 4 of them out. It's that simple. Okay, so now comes the sorta tricky part, because you gotta find the ones that go in order with the new ones. So it's not that big of a deal, to be honest. It's just some people consider it time consuming. I don't, because I want to do it right. Okay, so I'm going to clean that up. So what we're going to do is just take each one of these out. Let me zoom out. Okay, so we're going to take each one of these out. Okay, I'm going to take this off. This. You know what? I'm just gonna grab some scissors and cut that off. Hold on. Okay, here we go. All right. All right. So let me face the engine again. Seeing how the coils are over here, so that means that the first cylinder right here, that's gotta be the shortest, then the second shortest, then the longer, and the most longest one out of all of them. Okay, so that being said, the shorter one is this one right here. If it let go, okay, that's the shortest one. All right, so it says shortest and second shortest. Now let's see which one of these two is the longest. Okay, so these two over here, the last two left, are just as long, okay? Just as long. So that's gonna be debatable later. So this is the second shortest, so we know that this is the second one we're gonna put in. Okay? It's that easy. So now we gotta put them on, and we're gonna put them on putting dielectric grease. Hold on, I got it upside down. Dielectric grease inside this tip right here. Okay, basically you open this up, squeeze dielectric grease into this, and then just put it in. Simple as that. Okay, no need to get your fingers greased out with dielectric grease. Okay, now let's get to that. I wasn't noticing that the NGK spark plug wires for this car came numbered, so that's a good thing. I didn't notice, but good thing that I did notice. That way I didn't put the wrong spark plug wire into the wrong spark plug. Anyways, so let's go over here, and I'm going to show you something else that you need to know when you do this yourself on the Camry. Let me go here. Okay, so something that you should note or take pictures of, unless you have the diagram of how everything goes. So you need to know the order of the ignition coils. So that's where the spark plug wires go connected, but they don't go in order. You might think it does, but it doesn't, okay? You might think that the 2 over here would go to the 2 at the bottom, but no, that's wrong. This is the order: cylinder 1, cylinder 4, cylinder 2, and cylinder 3. So it's 1, 4, 2, 3. That's the order of the ignition coils. So in other words, over here, let me okay, so cylinder 1 is the one over there, and cylinder 4 is over here. Those 2, they go to the coil over here, 1 and 4, and then 2 and 3 go to the bottom coil in that same order, 2 and 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that now that I'm done explaining that. And right here we have coil, the spark plug wire, and this is what I meant. You squeeze. There you go. That's how you do it. So it's a little difficult because I got the camera dead center in front of me. So let me move over. Okay. So come down. And like that. And then remember the order: 1, 4, 2, 3. This is cylinder 4. So since this is number 4, this goes where number 4 goes. Okay? We're going to do the same thing with the other ones. And don't forget to put dielectric grease in each one of them. Okay, so this is 3 going in. And then on the back coil is 2 and then 3. So this one goes to the furthest back of the bottom coil. And make sure it clicks in real nice to the point where you can't lift it off, okay? Unless you lift a lip or clip that it's got. So these are in. Let's go with number 2. Alright. Okay. Okay, that clicked in. Number 2 goes to the bottom coil on the first connection. And like I said before, make sure it clicks in. Okay, that's in. Now let's do cylinder 1. Okay. It's in. Now let me just put that over. And cylinder 1 goes to the first coil entrance or connection on the first coil. There we go. Again, recheck every single one of them, make sure that they are clicked in, and now that's that. I mean, now at this point you can be done. You can leave it like that if you like, or you can use the holders that you can see right here, these plastic holders. You can take them off of the old spark plug wires and put on the new one, but that's completely optional. There's no need to actually use it. Your car is not going to perform better or weaker without this piece. So like I said, it's completely up to you. I'm going to put them on because it looks a little messy, especially on this area right here. So I'm going to put it on and finish it off, because that is it. So what I'm going to do then is simply organize it here. My arm is probably in the way, so I apologize. I almost crushed my flashlight. Okay. This one here. Here, and lastly, this one looks like, okay. See, now it looks a little better. Now it looks a little better compared to how it was. Okay, and it's that simple, guys. That's how you replace your spark plug wires with the NG case, with what's the word, with dielectric grease in each one of them. Okay, and that's it, guys. The other stuff, I'm gonna do it like I had said before, off camera, and I guess I'll let you guys know the results on this. I was really glad that the car was running fine, except when the brake booster line had a crack on it, but not anymore. So, oh, one thing, I will be putting a cold air intake, and the only reason I have to put it on is that this, I don't like how this looks. This is the intake tube for the Camry, but I don't like it. This is the modification I had done to block this off, but I had taken this off so I can take a better look, or try to get a better look at the EGR. But taking it off, I pulled it too hard, I guess, and I made a hole on it. So yeah, this whole piece, this piece right here, actually comes off of the rest, but this is loose, completely loose, and this hose, this part of the hose is not coming off. No matter what, it's not going off. And this piece is like $40, and this other piece is like $60. So I'm like, man, $100 for just this piece of crap right here, made out of rubber, when I could get a cold air intake of aluminum pipe with a much better filter for $100 more. I prefer to go with the aluminum, which will never break like this does, and just slap it in. So, and my dad decided to keep the car after all. He wants to keep it, so we'll see. Yeah, so that cold air intake is going to be there. It's going to be looking nice when I get it here. I'm I'll show you guys how it goes on and everything. So it's gonna look nice. It's gonna go nice. And it's gonna be blue. There's two different ones. There's one with the blue aluminum pipe and the black filter, and the other one is the silver or chrome finish aluminum pipe with a blue filter. So I'm still debating on which one I'm gonna get for this one, but definitely gonna get it. Definitely gonna get it. So that's it, guys. All right, so yeah, have a great weekend. I'm definitely gonna be having a great weekend because I'm gonna be on vacation. Yeah, so it's gonna be fun, and this car's gonna be on the ground by the time I leave for the vacay, so at least I don't have to worry about it being on jack stands by the time I leave. So yeah, all right, take care, have a great weekend, and stay safe, stay greasy if you're a mechanic, and if you haven't, please hit the like button or the thumbs up button on below the screen. All right, take care, guys. Bye bye.